My name is Machado Phillip, and I am an innovator of change. I am currently employed by J. Walter Thompson as a legal assistant. Outside of here, I freelance as a writer and producer with other media production companies on new media projects. I feel very privileged and special to be selected for this award, and very happy. Working as a legal assistant in the legal realm of things, I'm fascinated by contracts. I'm fascinated by the way things operate and the legal aspect of it. And what I've found is a lot of artists and creative people, they're not understanding the importance of the legal aspect. But at the same time, reading contracts was not 100% gratifying to me, because as a creative, you're constantly, what's going on here? And you're looking to do new things. I started to write more, and once I started to write and collaborate more with people outside of my 9-to-5 and my legal world, I am seeing that both worlds have a bridge where I can be creative, but at the same time, I have a legal responsibility. Starting is the hardest part. The obstacles that I faced was self-confidence. I was not confident in myself in believing that, I can make a difference. And I found myself being home sometimes and say, yeah, I'm not sure if my stuff is good enough. And I realized that there is a void, because when you're looking at media right now and stuff that's out there, it's not reflecting us, minorities, in a positive way. And it's not reflecting me, it's not reflecting my family, it's not reflecting my friends. And I started saying, okay, what can you do differently? So I started internalizing and finding like-minded people who share that same views with me and started producing stuff. I would love to leave a legacy here in this world by stating that, hey, this woman produced tangible materials that can live on way beyond my lifespan, that is representing African Americans in positive ways. The first advice I give younger people who would like to pursue what I do, first I ask them why. If they tell me it's just for the money, I know they're not ready, because it's not about the money, it's about your passion and your desires. And if you have those things going for you, you just keep at it. It doesn't matter if anyone says no to you, you just keep at it, because you need to believe in yourself and believe in what you stand for. I'm a risk taker. I like to deny that sometimes, but it's something that is embedded within me. And I like taking risks, because that's the only way you can get things done. Curiosity, I ask a lot of questions. And I just don't take things at face value. I always need to go deeper and search deeper for answers. So I am always curious as to the way dynamics work in projects and in life in general.
My name is Quintin Walcott, and I'm an innovator of change. Most of my friends and family call me Q. I'm the co-executive director of an organization called Connect. Connect, we do gender-based violence prevention work and domestic violence prevention work throughout New York City. I think, vision. Vision is very important. Having a vision and an idea, but the ability to really implement that, And when I say implementation, I think, really measuring what is success. Is it really reaching that vision and materializing that, or is it sometimes the process of getting to that vision where you're learning about yourself and that people can learn from as well, and if you do fall, you do stand back up and figure out what went wrong and kind of take that next step in a different way. There were many obstacles. One, it was like, I was a student activist. I did some activism in the community. So shifting from issues that concerned everyone to kind of what was perceived as a women's issue, domestic violence and gender-based violence, was seemingly a women's issue, but I saw it as an issue that men had to deal with because men were committing most of the violence. So for me, it was a men's issue. And then, this idea of working with men and engaging men around violence prevention was very new, and there wasn't a lot of, money and time invested in it. So I felt that, that I can hopefully change that and just from who I am as a man and a leader in my community in other ways can bring more men to this field and hopefully expand the field in a way where not just 2 or 3 men in New York City were doing this work, so it could expand the network of men doing this. I think, the fact that I definitely, I have a saying, I try to save lives and educate minds. I think that's exactly what I'm doing, and that I'm impacting and modeling and mentoring for people who are coming after me. If somebody sees me as a leader or kind of like is motivated by my passion, that's the goal. And my thing is really to push people through transformation, transforming their attitudes and belief systems. And if I can do that creatively, have people in the process of doing that, then I think I've done my job. My motivation is really about, really sticking to it and following through on something no matter how long it takes. And everything that I do is really, we do it from a race, class, gender analysis. So we're talking about race when we're talking about sexism, we're talking about classism. All these different issues are all intermingled and connected. So I think it's really just the courage, the consistency, and the creativity in creating spaces where you can communicate and listening, doing mostly the listening rather than dictating and telling someone how they should live their life.
My name is Francis Carrero, and I am an innovator of change. I am the director of programming for the Torch program. But basically, aside from that, I'm just, a regular girl, Afro-Latina from Washington Heights. I was born in the Dominican Republic. I'm an educator. And I just think that I'm a change agent. And I'm very passionate about everything that I do. I'm still surprised because, I do what I do because I love it. And it just feels good to know that other people understand why my work is so important. But yeah, I was definitely surprised. I still am. I'm like, me? Francis, this one? I feel extremely blessed to be honored with this recognition because, I've been through a lot from being in high school and going to college and having like 3 jobs to, help me pay for college. And even in high school, I had like 2 jobs to help my parents out. And I'm able to be there for my students and, help them not have the same types of struggles that I did and just make it a little easier for them on their way to success. And, I don't know, I guess I just feel really good and I'm very excited. In my opinion, the qualities that an innovator of change should have are passion is definitely one of the most important because your passion is what's going to help you overcome the adversities. And without the passion, you just can't do the work. Secondly, I think that they should have determination. You have to be determined. You just have to just do it. Do it no matter what anybody says. Even if there's a no, if there's a door shut in your face, open another door, find another way. So definitely determination. And third, I think that to do this kind of work, whenever it comes to diversity and inclusion and talent, you have to have courage and you have to be fearless because it's not easy speaking up for, people that are oppressed many times. So definitely be fearless and have courage. In today's generation, I think that social media plays a very big part of race relations. However, I don't think that social media should be the only thing that people use to create awareness. Using hashtags, yeah, that's cool. Fine, we have a hashtag. You're tweeting and retweeting and Facebooking, but you need to do the work. You need to be out there because that's the only way that the real change is going to happen. If you're out there and you're doing the work. If you're just talking about it, that does nothing. Actions speak louder than words. That is what's going to determine the change that's going to happen in the world is the action and not the tweet.
My name is Dr. Selena T Rodgers, and I am an innovator of change. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Social Work within the School of Health Sciences and Professional Programs at York College of the City University of New York. In my role here at York College, I have the honor of teaching both students that have an interest in the profession of social work, and I teach the first course, and I enjoy teaching that course because they become really excited. My initial feeling was surprise to be selected as an innovator of change, and that was immediately followed by just humbleness and gratitude to my colleague who is an elder who was actually a recipient last year. My passion chose me. I think having the opportunity to have grown up in New York City housing development, Amsterdam projects, and a lot of my friends, did not make it, and just having gone through early traumatic experiences, the loss of my mom at 14, said to me, education is your way out. And so it was just like a very natural experience for me to kind of fall into what I do now in terms of both being a clinical social worker as well as an educator. I love to teach. I love to share knowledge. I love to help people transform. It's just very organic for me to help people reach their aspirations. So I think the least favorite things about what I do in higher education has more to do with just not enough time within a day, the importance of the legitimacy of the profession of social work, and helping people to understand the value of Black women in higher education. The secret to my success so far certainly is my ancestors. I'm always going to refer back to the opportunities that I'm afforded based on the doors that have been opened up and kicked open and knocked down by those that have come before me. My earlier years, my parents come from Alabama, they come from the South. I'm born and raised here in Harlem, and I now live in Queens. But all of that, everybody within the village had a part in who I am today. And I always am humbled and know the importance of saying thank you along the way. And I think that's who I am today because of the people who have come before me.
My name is Manoj Raghunandanan, and I am an innovator of change. I work for Johnson & Johnson. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing for the Tylenol franchise here in the US. Over time, actually, over the course of the past couple of weeks, as it's kind of sunk in and I've got a chance to learn more about what Differenter's doing here at JWT New York and what a huge impact you guys are making, I have to tell you, it's really special. I don't actually know how to describe the feeling, because I have to tell you, I don't think that anything I do or I say in this space is for recognition. I think it's just because it feels like the right thing to do. I don't think that I knew marketing would be my passion, even when I started in the job. I think I was at a point in time in my life where I was trying to figure out, what would be the right career for me in order to positively provide for my family and establish a career. And what I did know is that I loved helping people, and I loved having a chance to help people. And so over the course of time, working in my career, I've been able to work with great people and develop great relationships and positively impact the lives of people, which is one of the cool things of working at the #1 kind of healthcare company in the world, right? We get to positively impact people's lives in a meaningful way. And I will never forget that the first day I walked into the office at Pfizer Consumer Healthcare, I was wearing the biggest pleated pants you've ever seen in your life with some peanut butter square-toed loafers and a giant yellow shirt that was XXL because I wore all my stuff big. Clearly, I don't need a XXL. And I bought it all on the $99 suit store on 2nd and Market in Philly. And I thought that that was the right thing to wear. And it's funny, when I walked in those doors this first day, I felt like I looked good, and I was wearing the right thing. And then I walked around the office and I was a little bit like, oh, maybe I don't know what I'm doing at all. And I think over time, I was able to quickly understand what the environment was in corporate and what were some of the things that you could say or you couldn't say, or what were the best way to approach conflict maybe different than the ways that I had in the past, or what were the best ways to express your ideas, what were the best ways to make positive relationships and in a way that were genuine but at the same time beneficial. I think there was definitely a learning curve in all of that I had to get to know and understand, and those were difficult obstacles at first because I guess what I would say is I didn't know how to operate, if you will. I thought that I was smart enough and willing enough and hardworking enough, but there was a little bit of aspects of being successful in a corporate environment that were very difficult to overcome at first, and I think I'm still working on that and I'm still trying to get better every day, but I think to a degree I've been able to overcome. The way that I really overcame those obstacles was by willingness to listen, willingness to understand, and willingness to change. You know, I do believe in, and I've learned most recently from the leadership that I've been with, about embracing your authentic self. But I will say in those initial years when you're first starting out in corporate America and you're first trying to get yourself established, I needed to have a willingness to adapt. I needed to have a willingness to understand that being articulate but concise was very important. You know, I needed to have a willingness to say that, you know, the way that you show up at your job is not just about performance. It's about your performance, it's about the image that you maintain, and it's about the exposure that you get. And these were lessons that were taught to me by people in the office. These were lessons that were passed on to me. And as I learned to manage all three elements of that, and as I learned to kind of understand that there was things I needed to pay attention to or rules of the road, I think the more successful I became. You know, I am where I am today because I was lucky enough to stand on the shoulders of those that came before me. That's it. I mean, it's not an individual thing. It's not a Manoj was able to do by himself. It was merely that there were a lot of people that came before me that took the time to pass knowledge to me, and because they passed knowledge to me, I was able to achieve. And so I think the awareness of that makes mentorship so critical in my life. Because if all those people, and there's probably too many names for me to mention, have taught me something or passed something on to me, how selfish would I have to be to not pass that on to others? And so if I don't mentor, and if I don't take the time to mentor, and if I don't encourage mentorship in my organization, then I wouldn't be allowing other people to get the benefits that I did, and also help many other people be as successful as they could be. And so it's not a stance, it's a belief in what's right. The one thing that I have learned for certain is you have to believe in you. You have to believe in you. And it's our job as kind of citizens of the world, particularly with our young people, to help them believe in themselves. So I think if we're doing our job and helping people believe in themselves, we can arm them with that number one tool, which is believe in yourself. I think the second thing I would just say, and I with my own kids, I try to do this as best I can, is get that wide range of experiences. Always find ways to learn and make yourself better. And I think in this particular space, when we talk about how do you become a change agent or how do you become an innovator of change, you have to observe, live, and participate in change in order to make change. So I would say go out, experience, learn, ask questions, and believe in yourself. And then I think you should be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So let's start first with capability, right? Capability is what gets you in the door. It gets you access. So I think all of us need to work hard every day in order to make sure that whatever those core capabilities are, we have them and that we're improving them. Because that's going to get you in the door and get you at the table so that you can have a conversation. If you actually had the ability to collaborate in the true meaning of the word collaborate, right? Because I think a lot of times, particularly even in the corporate setting, collaborate means you get along with everybody and you agree with everybody's ideas, and then you walk away from the meeting table and then you say a lot of different things when you get to your office, right? But true collaboration where we have conflict of ideas but we come to a better conclusion, that's collaboration. And you can't have that collaboration if in fact you don't have what? Courage to voice how you feel about a topic, and the courage to know that your opinion may not be the opinion of others, but you're still going to share it. And I would venture to say that the courage that was required wouldn't come without first having the curiosity to find a different point of view. And I think that is one of the most powerful vehicles that we have. You have to be intellectually curious every day to learn and understand new things because it's going to make you better. So I just think that like all of those elements work so well together. I think are so important to being successful as a person. And if you can be successful as a person, obviously you can be successful in business as well.
Americans need to understand, or we need to hold something as a constant reminder as, hey, we're here to stay, and we need to showcase the positivity of our ancestors in the past, and to remind our children that are coming up right now that these people paved the way for you, so you need to pay attention to that. In light of everything that happened recently with all of the killings and all of the stuff that is out there, it resonates. It really and truly resonates. And just like with everything else, I guess we need that constant reminder, and that's what the month of February served for us.
I struggle with Black History Month, to be honest with you, because it should never just be about a month. It should be about celebrating the history of who we are as people every day. So while I'm very happy to celebrate in this month, and I'm very happy to bring forward the story of many powerful African Americans who have influenced our culture, our society, our science, our healthcare, our educational systems, I think there's an opportunity for us to just do it on a more regular basis as opposed to making it just about 1 month, because the reality is the folks that are in that minority are facing that struggle every day, not 1 month out of the year.
We don't live in a post-racial society. We live in a non-post-racial reality of racism and other isms and microaggressions and disparities and disproportionalities, and that is the world in which we live. And I've had an opportunity to use my platform as an academic to write to the scholarship of racism, to address the realities of racism, specifically as it impacts Blacks here in America. Because I think when we begin to have the conversation about racism, it's a very uncomfortable subject matter. I think it's diluted dialogue that occurs. I take the opportunity in my classrooms to discuss and celebrate who folk are and the legacy of who people are, and I say people, and I mean the legacy of people of all, races and ethnicities. But as an African American woman, it is critical for me to talk about Henrietta Lacks, okay, when I'm talking about research. It is critical, for me to be able to raise the relevance of, what Whitney Young did in terms of social reform. That is very important to not only my teaching style, but who I need students to embrace and understand in terms of our contribution to this history here in America.
I do think that Black History Month is very important because, a lot of people take the time out to learn more about Black history, and it's not just about learning about, Martin Luther King or, everyone that's always out there. Rosa Parks is about learning about people like Nat Turner or Bayard Rustin, people that are not always out in the light and a lot of people don't know about, and they have a really big significance in the history. So it is important. It's very, very important, and it's essential for us to teach these things to our students, to our kids. Even today, there's not a lot of Black history classes in schools, and that's a problem. And I also think that it's a problem that I have my job, because it shouldn't be like that. Okay, there should be space everywhere for Black people, Latino people, Asian people, white people, people that come from everywhere. So, that's just my take on it.
What makes me differenter is I know that I have not arrived. I'm never satisfied. I feel like I've made progress every day. I feel like I've moved forward every day. But I also realize when I put my head on the pillow each night that I have so much to be grateful for. I have so much that I've been blessed with, and I have a responsibility to ensure that I live into the last name that my father gave me, the talents that God blessed me with, and the skills that I'm fortunate to have. And so I'm different because I'm pretty sure I'll never actually arrive, but along the journey, I will celebrate it, I will enjoy it, I will learn from it, and hopefully I'll positively impact other people as well.
What makes me differenter is I do it my way, and I believe that everyone has dignity and self-worth.
What makes me a differenter is that I look at the world in a critical way, and I'm honest about what I see, and I'm courageous enough to make the changes necessary. And I practice what I preach, you know, that makes me a differenter. And I'm really struggling. I struggle to do what I say. My goal in life is to change the way people view the world.
What makes me differenter is that I have never let my failures or my downfalls determine who I am.
What makes me a differenter? I am Grenadian American, and I am living the American dreams by traveling the world, being creative, and influencing people along the way.
What we do here is go back.